Hi, my name's Ron Bazar, and I'm here to teach you how to personal test. And personal testing is a way of your knowing whether a food or a supplement or something like that is actually good for you or not. And personal testing, there's many forms of personal testing. There's personal testing using muscle testing, and that's where you have somebody else pressing on your arm to determine the resistance. And something that's good for you, you will hold strong, and something that is weak for you, your arm will go down when someone presses on it. Another method that people use is to do that themselves, is personal testing. You can actually use your whole body, and you would lean forward or backwards if something is good for you or not. Forwards if it's good, and back if it's not. And the other method is using your finger like this and pulling on it. And if it holds strong, you're getting a yes response, and if it holds weak, you've got a no response. They're all very good, but my favorite is to use a pendulum to test, because I'm a visual person and I love seeing something visual. It doesn't involve a second party for muscle testing, and it is so responsive to your energies. I'm going to ask you to suspend your judgment, because it's real easy from our Western scientific point of view to say this is hocus pocus and it's a whole crock. And believe me, it's easy to get into that headspace. But I'm telling you, this has proven unbelievable for me, and it saved me from real serious health issues. And it works. And I ask you, just suspend your judgment. I don't even know how it works fully. I'll give you my ideas of it. We're all connected to a matrix of universal energy. We don't necessarily see that or understand it fully and how it works, but this does work. And maybe it's similar to some of the principles that are used in acupuncture, using energy meridians and hands-on healing. So here I have a pendulum. And there are many different kinds of pendulums that you can find. In fact, you can use a nail, a rusty nail, a nail clipper. So here's a metal nail clipper, and you could use that if you want. You can use, there's all kinds of pendulums you can buy in many different shapes. Some have a pointed top or a pointed bottom. I discovered this pendulum through some people who teach how to use it, and their story about this shape of this pendulum is quite amazing. The shape of this pendulum is kind of oval-like, and it's designed to replicate what's called the auric field of the body. Some of you have heard of auras and so on. Well, an aura is kind of the energy that we emanate, and you pick up on that from people. When you meet new people, you're attracted, you're repelled, you have a different reaction to different people without even talking to them, and that's based on their auric field. And the auric field actually starts right at the very top like this and goes right up to the very point of your hands at the top like that, and all the way down and around to the bottom. And so that shape is this shape. And why they use this pendulum shape is because it is the most responsive, the most accurate in terms of giving you responses that you want. So now I'm going to teach you how you use this. And at the end there will be a link if you want to go and get this. It costs about $30, something like that. It's the least expensive purchase you're ever going to make, because it can save you a fortune just in not buying a bottle of supplements that you think is good. It's the least expensive purchase you're ever going to make, because it can save you a fortune just in not buying a bottle of supplements that you think is good. Just in not buying a bottle of supplements that you think is good for you. You test it and you get a no. You saved yourself a pile of money for something that you may have bought otherwise. So I urge you to not skimp on getting a high quality testing device. It'll be a tool that you can use for the rest of your life. and you hold with your finger, your thumb and forefinger, either in your left hand or your right hand, it doesn't matter. You hold it maybe an inch and a half or less above the bulb of the pendulum. Then what you do is here's how you test. You drop your hand down so your wrist is bent, and you make it go forward and backward, so it has a swing forward and backward. So I'm just letting it swing. So the next thing you want to do is now you want to find a yes direction and a no direction. And we do that by taking your other hand, in my case the left hand, and you form what's called a mudra with your hand. And that is, in this particular mudra we're going to take our forefinger and our thumb. And a mudra is kind of, I don't know if you've heard in meditation, sometimes people in meditation, they put their hands together in a certain way, and that balances your energy field. So a mudra is like that, except the mudra we're doing here is going to help us test. So you drop your wrist down from your arm, you make it go forward and backwards a little, so you can see it swinging forward and backward. You take your other hand, and then with your palm facing up, and you look at your pendulum swinging, you put your thumb and forefinger together, and it creates a mudra. And there is my yes direction. It is now going clockwise. So I'm looking at it. I have my other hand, palm up, mudra, thumb and forefinger together. So I found my yes direction. Now we want to find the no direction. So to find the no direction, you do the same thing. You make it go forward and backwards, but this time you look at the pendulum. It's very important to look at it. You put your hand so the palm is facing down, and you make the same mudra. And there we go. We've got a no direction. So now we got a yes and we have a no. So that's crucial. Clockwise is yes and counterclockwise is no for me. You may get the opposite when you try to find your direction yourself. The next thing you want to do is you want to test, before you test for a particular item, you want to make sure that you're not getting a false positive. And many people, there are so many misuses of pendulums. People say, oh, should I go out with that gal? Is she good for me or not? Yes or no. They'll look at this thing and they'll ask it to give it a yes or no. That's a misuse. You can't do that way. What you want to do is have it give you as direct a response as possible. So the next thing you want to do is test to make sure your energy field is clear. There's no negative influences on your particular device. So you want to make sure that you and your device are in harmony and ready to test without getting a false positive. So what we're going to do, I'm going to make it go forward and back as usual. That's always the starting procedure, wrist bend, forward and back. Just a little smidge like that. And then you take your other hand and you make a mudra, this time with your thumb between your fingers in a fist, and then you put it on your sternum, on your heart chakra area, about 2 inches up from your breastbone, like that. And it's going no, which means no, you're not getting a false positive, you are ready to test. So it's like a double negative. No, you're not getting a false positive. So this is very good. I'm now ready to test whatever I want to test to make sure it's good for me or not. So if you're very healthy, you may find that you're able to eat all kinds of things without a problem. If you're like me, who's just coming out now from a serious prostate ailment that I had, and it's only this tool has helped me heal by allowing me to test what foods and what supplements are good for me to eat or not.